In this video, advisor coach Shawn Sparks, he shares 3 types of advisors. And really, when we start out, if we're a solo advisor, we have to be all 3. But as you start to grow a little bit, then you might have some optionality here. And knowing which one you are now is going to be helpful, because then you'll be able to focus on your strengths and really perform well in what you're good at and what you enjoy doing, and then get assistance with your weaknesses. If you ever plan to hire another advisor or really just hire another assistant, then this video is going to be valuable for you. I also included how to follow Shawn in the description below if you'd like to get more from him. So let's now get into the video.
These qualities all fall into different characteristics. So here's the first one. Knowledge of planning. The first type of advisor, and you know them, is very detail-oriented. They're very analytical. They could look at a spreadsheet and tweak a plan all day long and be happy. Have you ever met an advisor who is so detail-oriented and analytical in the planning that they're like just a genius? Like a planning-centered advisor. Have you ever experienced that?
Yeah.
So I'm going to call this a planning advisor, which is a skill set. Now, there's another type of advisor, and we're going to say A is advisor. The second one is what you said is next, which is, so there's planning, and then there's a communicator. Somebody who can take a complex thing, make it simple, easily build trust and have confidence so that people will instantly like them, trust them, understand completely that they can help them. This is what I would say is somebody who's really good at what we call sales. They're able to really take control of conversation. They can influence people very easily. Here's my question for you. The detail-oriented planner who loves spreadsheets, loves planning, do they tend to be the same person who's really great, likable, builds trust, and communicates well? Or do you feel like they might be kind of two different sides of the brain?
Yeah, it's usually 2 different sides, for sure.
All right. So I have a friend that was a CPA. He was a complete whiz, smarter than any of us, knew every detail in the tax law. He decided he wanted to be an advisor and he wanted to transition and start helping people with money. I'll just tell you, Dave, he was the worst salesperson I've ever met. It didn't matter who he sat down with. He was in the weeds. He was talking over their head. His effectiveness as a sales advisor was really, really bad. And I learned a really good lesson from that. And we need to understand the characteristics, what the role we're trying to fill in our company, and make sure we're setting people up for success. Just because somebody's a CFP and a CFA does not mean they need to be here. In fact, sometimes the analytical people, a lot of times they don't like those meetings. So there's a thing here, which is skill set and likability. Make sure we set advisors up for success. The third thing is this. You've been a great advisor. There's this thing that you wrote down, which is, by the way, empathy and care, I'm going to put in the same category. It's probably it's kind of an umbrella over all of these. It's kind of the heart of the advisor. But this one right here, which, you mentioned follow through. Sometimes the salesperson who's really great at communication, they really want to help people. But once the sale's over and they get a sticky note on their desk that says, hey, call Julie back. And then they wake up 3 weeks later and like, oh yeah, Julie has another question. The weird thing is the sales guy, it's almost becomes a side of the desk activity because they are really good at the helping people initially, but not so good at the to-do list that keeps coming back to them over time. So service people is the next category, which represents great at relationship building. I'm going to put relationship management. Love the ongoing reoccurring communication. Their goal is to get back to people really quickly and just overserve them. And they're the ones that'll stop Dave after the conversation is over. And they will say, oh yeah, I wanted to ask you how your son's doing. You mentioned he had a baby, and they know everything about him. High relationship skill set. What's interesting, relationship people / service people are scared to death a lot of times of the sales process. I have a story of a friend. He just hired a woman. She was managing $1 billion by herself as a service advisor for a company. She was the best relationship person on the planet. When she interviewed, she said, I love this. I love building relationships with clients. I love ongoing, the help and support. Nothing makes my day more than getting back to somebody quickly and really taking the extra step to connect with them. And she said, but the thing is, I don't want to be a part of the sales meetings. I'm scared to death. So what we've outlined here, Dave, is a term that means advisor, but there are completely different skill sets to determine whether this advisor is in the right place and doing what they love and doing what they're good at. So I'll tell you, this sales advisor, most service advisors think the only way to make money is by becoming a sales advisor. But then they just beat their head against the wall trying to become better, and it doesn't work. And then at the same time, this planning person is wondering why they can't get people to say yes. These are all completely different skills. We're all completely different as far as advisors. Before we hire new advisors, I don't want to know what their credentials are. I want to know, is this somebody who's really analytical, that loves spreadsheets, loves planning, they'll tweak a plan. By the way, here's the question for you, Dave. If you have an advisor who's building your plan, which one of these guys do you want to build your plan?
Yeah.
This one.
No.
By the way, which one of these do you want to communicate the plan to you? This one. By the way, which one do you want to do the service work ongoing? This one. So I believe to optimize your advisory model, you need to be really clear and make sure you put people in the right spot so that it's not only best for them, it's best for your company, and it's also best for the client experience.
Yeah.
There are 3 different types of advisors.